I know, people keep screwing with them. Okay, good evening, everyone. The March 11th, 2026 meeting of the Solana Beach City Council is called to order. Let the record show all council members are present except for Councilmember Edson, who is home not feeling well. Next on our agenda is the city attorney report. Any items from closed session?
No reportable action, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Please stand and join me in the flag salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next on our agenda is a proclamation, something that's very bittersweet for many of us, and this is to honor our outgoing Assistant City Manager, Dan King. I'll turn it over to our City Manager now to MC this.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor, council members, esteemed members of the community, family, friends, former colleagues. I wanted to kick off this evening and recognize Dan King for his 23 years of service in the city of Solana Beach. We are sad to see him leave, but know that he's moving into a new role at Encina Wastewater District. And I'll start by saying, I came to the city about 2 years ago, and so thankful for Dan having stepped into the interim role after Greg Wade left, and I see Greg's here this evening, to keep the city balanced. And that has been a common theme with our staff of Dan is calm, cool, collected. He is what really the piece of the city team that keeps us solid with staff, with our constituents. He sees projects through. He is very communicative, to me in particular, helping to make me a better city manager. And I really appreciate Dan. I appreciate Dan in that he also was a great partner unexpectedly in our costume the first year at Halloween. We ordered the same costume, but different, which is very indicative of how our relationship is. His was a skeleton that was black and white, and mine was a little iridescent, shiny. So, Dan, I will really miss having you here, and there is no substitute to your experience, your knowledge, your passion for this community, being part of the community. And I, on behalf of the city, really want to thank you for everything you have done here. We have a couple items to present to you tonight, but I want to maybe turn it over to some of our guests here this evening who may also want to say some words to you. And I'll maybe look to Pune, and then if there are others who want to speak, please feel free to come on up. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, Dan, I've worked with you for the past 2 decades, and it's been a wonderful journey. You've become, we spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our families, and you've become truly a family member, a close friend. We've grown in our careers together through the city. You started as an intern. I started as a temporary HR assistant, as a part-time position, just so I could get out of the house after being home for 3 years with Lonnie. Seeing you grow through, your position. You married your beautiful wife, Carly, by meeting her here at the city. You started your beautiful family with your 2 boys, Mason and Dawn, or they're here too. Like Alyssa was mentioning, you've been a pillar for all of us, to employees, the community. Your cool and calm demeanor has been such a gift to have as a coworker and as a friend. You've been a sounding board for my single HR department for many years, and voice of reason at work, so I appreciate all that. I'm going to miss you. We're going to miss you. but I know you're moving on to this next chapter in your career, and I'm really excited for you. And Encina's very lucky to have you, but I know we'll stay in touch. And so thank you. We do have a couple of things to present to you. So would you like to step down too to help? Come on up.
I feel like we should have
Oh my gosh.
mayors also come up for this because even though you
It is a street sign.
What does it say on the back?
Read the back.
It says, thank you for 23 years of service and dedication to the city of Solana Beach. You will be missed. So
Yay,
thank you guys
it's
so
very
much for
true.
that. My own sign. Thank you, Mo. Appreciate that.
Then our customary going away picture collage.
Oh, boy.
This tradition was started by Angela, so it continues.
Thank you, Angela. There it is.
Oh, that's
So thank you so much. And I think now, the mayor would
Yeah.
like to read off the proclamation for you.
Yes, we have a proclamation that I would like to read, Dan, to you, and we will present the framed proclamation to you. And of course, it's long because you have a long and storied and excellent career. So, in honor and recognition of Assistant City Manager Dan King for his 23 years of exemplary service to the city of Solana Beach. Whereas Dan began his long tenure with the city in its most foundational role, and through 23 years of advancement, built a career defined by steadiness, professionalism, and an enduring commitment to public service. And whereas Dan has long been recognized as, quote, the definition of calm, cool, and collected, and whose thoughtful leadership anchored the organization through city manager transitions, periods of uncertainty, and moments requiring clear and compassionate decision-making. And whereas colleagues widely appreciate his approachability, empathy, and diplomacy, qualities that strengthened communication across all departments and helped ensure complex issues were clearly understood at every level. And whereas Dan's steady voice and balanced perspective provided essential stability during high-pressure situations, particularly for public safety agencies such as fire and sheriff, which relied on his calm guidance. And whereas he served as a valued mentor and sounding board for many, offering consistent support that helped colleagues navigate challenges and grow in their professional roles. And whereas having begun his service to the city as an intern in 2002, a period that aligned with the city's early climate action activities, Dan later provided strategic leadership essential to the formation of the Solana Energy Alliance, the region's first community choice aggregation program, expanding access to renewable energy and supporting efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And whereas he also led numerous successful labor negotiations with the city's employee groups, fostering collaboration, stability, and a workplace grounded in fairness, transparency, and shared respect. And whereas he represented the city in regional environmental and solid waste initiatives, including the Regional Solid Waste Association and the city's partnership with EDCO, ensuring environmentally responsible and cost-effective service delivery. And whereas colleagues finally recall witnessing the early beginnings of Dan's relationship with his future wife, Carly, a meaningful reminder of the deep personal connections formed during his many years with the city. And whereas Dan invested deeply in the Solana Beach community, including coaching his son's youth sports teams and supporting local programs as both an employee and a longtime resident. And whereas Dan has left an indelible imprint on the organization, with colleagues noting that his fingerprints are on every project, quote unquote, the city has completed over the last 2 decades, a reflection of both his institutional knowledge and his unwavering commitment to the community. And whereas through his devotion to public service and genuine care for others, Dan earned the trust of staff, elected officials, community partners, and residents alike, leaving a legacy defined not only by accomplishments, but by character, mentorship, and meaningful relationships. Now, therefore, I, Lisa Huebner, Mayor of the City of Solana Beach, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby honor and commend Assistant City Manager Dan King for his exceptional leadership, devoted service, and lasting impact on the City of Solana Beach. We extend our heartfelt gratitude and warmest wishes as he embarks on the next chapter in his career.
Wow. Yes, thank you.
A couple more speakers? Okay, then Dan, we'd like to hear from you as well. Angela, yeah.
Greg Wade.
Hello, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of the council. It's good to see you again. This is becoming kind of a routine now, it seems
We
like.
need to stop this.
Yes. I am happy to be here to say a few kind words about Dan. When I arrived in the city of Solana Beach, I didn't have quite 2 decades. I had the better part of 1 decade working with Dan. And when I got here, one of the first things he said to me was, we need to teach you about community energy aggregation. And so this council had the foresight to direct staff to form a community choice aggregation program. And Dan was the first expert in that on staff who taught me everything I know, so I can blame him for that. And I can blame you all, or thank you all, for the position I hold today. So it was a pleasure working with Dan. Everything you said about in that proclamation about Dan is true. It might not look like it on the exterior, but when I was around here, I wasn't always so calm.
No.
I think you might have heard me from yelling up in that through that window. And Dan was always the calm, reasoned sounding board that I could go to, and or he could come to me and say, "Hey, Greg, is everything okay?" And I really appreciated that. The other thing I learned from Dan, but only a little bit too late in my career, is his dedication not only to his job and the people who work here. And everything you said about him is very true. He's well liked, well respected by everybody that has worked here. But he also maintained a healthy work-life balance. I learned that very late in my career, but Dan was as great as an employee, as great as an assistant city manager as Dan has been. He is an even better person and an even better father and husband to his family, which is something that I can only hope to be someday. I left this position with a relationship, so that was learning, I guess, right? And I thank Dan for constantly reminding me what's important in life. And so, Dan, I wish you the best of success. I know you're going to find it in your next position. I actually look forward to being able potentially to work with Dan as partners in his position there in Encina, and I think that's an exciting prospect. Again, I don't have the words enough to describe how meaningful Dan's been in my career and how important he's been to so many people who came through this city hall, not just as employees, but as members of the community. And Dan, I just thank you for all of it, and congratulations on your next step.
Next speaker is Diana Cutlow.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council, and Dan. My certificate of recognition from the Senate can't possibly match the beautiful words in the proclamation, but it specifically mentions your environmental stewardship because you were such a leader in this area, and it's something that Senator Blake Spear really appreciates over the time that she was Traffic and Mobility Commissioner and Mayor of Encinitas, and now as a state senator. Solana Beach has really set a high standard for all of the cities in our district, and I think a large part of that is down to your work. Just on a personal level, I want to mention that when I first started working for the senator, I was very new to government, and Dan was the first person who just very calmly said, "Sure, I can help you. I can answer your questions. Call me anytime." And it was something that I felt very grateful for at that point. So congratulations.
Okay, very good. I see a few of your colleagues in the audience, and so I'm going to make sure that you see that Mo is here and that Jim is here and that Amy is here, and who have I missed? And Captain Watts is here too as well. So it's really nice to have them come honor you. Pardon me? Oh, Kirk is here too. Oh, there you are, way in the back. Yeah, Kirk. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. Okay, so Dan, do you have some words you'd like to say?
Sure. I don't know if I should turn around or talk to you. I'll just talk to you. I do have some words, and I did write them down, and I apologize for that. My intent was to come up here and not speak from notes, but speak from the heart. Unfortunately, I tried that yesterday at our citywide staff meeting, and it didn't go very well. Things kind of went off the rails a little bit, got a little emotional, and so I wrote some things down to try to keep that at bay this time. But I did learn and really appreciate, Greg, you being here. I learned a lot from him, and one of the final things was at his going away, he didn't write anything down, and he kicked himself for that. And so he kind of came up here and talked a little bit about it, so I wanted to make sure that I'm still learning from you. Appreciate everything that you did for me, Greg. First and foremost, thank you all for being here. This is very overwhelming, a little bittersweet, but for all of you to take your time out of your nights to come here is I can't put it into words, so thank you all for that. I want to do a special thanks to my family for showing up. My wife, Carly, Dominic, Mason, even my father-in-law, Gino, stopped by. So really appreciate that. It's cool that you stopped by. And it's fitting that my last council meeting, Carly is, I think, for the first time, been here in person, or have you been here before? maybe stayed a little bit longer this time. But she's experiencing how much over the last 23 years, how many nights that I've been here while she's held down the fort at home, picking the kids up from school, taking them to practices, taking them to games, making dinner, getting the kids ready for school the next day. And can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. Really appreciate it. Gosh, don't start. There's been a lot, council meetings, commission meetings, community meetings, a lot of meetings over the last 23 years, and you've been there supporting the family through the whole time. So thank you very much for that. So speaking of 23, almost coming up on 24 years, it's unbelievable. I've worked at the city for half my life, actually. I've seen a lot of change, a lot of transformation. Of course, very responsible change, right? Starting as an unpaid intern straight out of college and working up to where I'm at now. As mentioned before, I met Carly here right through those doors at the city clerk's office. I want to don't worry, it was all HR approved. It was a little bit awkward. We had to watch this extra video and sign some additional paperwork, but it was all on the up and up, and it was before Johanna and Pune was here, so you have plausible deniability on that front. But in all seriousness, this place is responsible for my family. It's no surprise when Carly and I looked around, when we were ready to have kids, to try to find the perfect place to raise a family. There's no other choice than here. It's a testament to the hard work that you, the council, and staff have done for so many years to make this the best community to raise a family in the entire region. I would say the entire world. I might be biased, but it's in my opinion, it's the highest level of standard when judging a community. People want to live here. People want to raise a family here. It's just a special place. When you look at the beaches, the parks, community events and programs, top-notch public safety, schools, all of it, it's truly a special place. And my kids and my family have enjoyed everything about it. Truly fortunate to play a small role in building and maintaining this community. My kids went through the day camp program, junior guards. Mason was even a leader in training last year at the camp. All the community events that Kirk and the Parks and Rec Department put on. Again, just a truly special place to live and raise a family. So I want to take a quick second to really thank you, the council, for all the support, direction, compassion, probably maybe most importantly, the consistency that you've all had, that you provided staff and the community throughout my time here. You know, and just taking a look around the region, it's truly unique what we have here. And as staff, it's been special. It's been easy. It's just knowing that you all have the community's best interest at heart at all times. It makes our jobs a lot easier. So as a staff member, as a resident, just thank you. Thank you for all of that. And finally, I want to send a special thank you to staff, both current and former, for the support, mentorship, camaraderie, and love that you've given me throughout the ups and downs. As Panay mentioned, I've made friends for life, many of who I consider family. We did some good things together. And I'm really excited to see what's come from the excellent staff we still have today and the projects that are on the horizon. So I'm truly fortunate that this isn't really goodbye. It's more see you later. I still live in the community. I'm sure our paths will cross grocery stores, restaurants, sports fields, community events. For this, I'm extremely fortunate that I can still call Solana Beach home. Keep up the good work. Keep fighting the good fight out there. I'll be watching from afar, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you need support in any way. Now, this last part I struggled with. I'm proud of myself for making it this far. This might be a little bit more difficult, but, I would be remiss if I didn't honor a special group of people that were so instrumental in my early years and really shaped me professionally and who I am today. When I first started many years ago, one of the first groups I was tasked to work with was a small but mighty clean and green team. When I first met them, I had no idea the impact they would have in my life, both professionally and personally. They helped guide, mentor, shield, show love to this young, inexperienced kid fresh out of college who had no idea what he was doing. So I owe so much to the special group of people that showed me how much good can be done by people that truly love their community. Their unselfish passion to do good in the world was inspiring. Unfortunately, a few of them are no longer with us, but I wanted to honor them all directly. And so a special thank you goes out to Judy and Jack Hagenauer, Roger Boyd, Marilyn McLean, Steve Getch, Peter Zahn, and on the Parks and Rec side and rural governmental side of things, Jerry and Ira Opper. They truly are the reason I have the foundation that I do in community service, and I just wanted to give a special shout out to them. So with that, I think I'm going to head out to dinner with my family. I'll leave the rest of the meeting up to all of you. So thank you so much.
Well, I didn't make it through that. Dan, thank you so much. This is a departure that I didn't expect. I mean, unlike Mo and Jim and Dan, you're not retiring, but instead you're making a really smart career move, and I'm really happy for you. I'm really sad that you're leaving, though. Very sad that you're leaving. You started as a young man with no gray hair, I might add. And when
Skinnier too. Yes.
first gotten involved in the rail trail, I saw you in the background all the time when I would come in trying to figure out how the heck I was going to get this thing done. So it's been a long time. You've really grown with the city. Mm-hmm. The city has grown up around you, and you really have had an impact on every policy, every project in this entire city. You should be very proud.
Thank you so much.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the guidance over the years. Like I said, you truly do have the best, all of you have the best for the community in mind with whatever you do. And just happy and proud to say I'm a resident. But you're in very good hands, Alyssa, over the last 2 years. Thank you for your guidance as well. I'm going to miss our morning sports talks. I'll still text you. I'll still call you, get updates on that. But we're in good hands, so.
We are. We're just going to miss you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for coming for him. Okay. My advice is always do math, and you use a different part of your brain so you can't get emotional. Well, you should see all of the math problems I've got written down here. It didn't work this time. Okay, we are now on to the approval of the agenda. City Manager, do you propose any changes?
No changes this evening. Thank
Okay,
you.
may I have a motion, please? Motion by Zito, second by McDonald. Very good. Please vote. Okay, that passes 4-0 with Edson absent. We're now on to oral communications. Do we have any speakers? Oh, we do have a presentation? Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry, we have one more presentation. We have Wild Coast here
Oh,
to present. Sorry, we got all wrapped up in the emotion.
I didn't know this. Okay.
I'll welcome up the team from Wild Coast to introduce themselves and proceed with their presentation.
Sorry about that. Wanted to sneak in there for a quick
Oh, thank you.
presentation. Well, that was just lovely to see. I was coordinating with Dan for a very brief amount of time, but he seemed darling and he seemed to really make an impact here. So that made me emotional. The clicker? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Hopefully we can show you some pictures of turtles and whales to kind of bring up the atmosphere a little bit. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having us. My name is Ella Ray Jones. I'm the Ocean Conservation Coordinator for Wild Coast. And today I'm going to kind of give you guys a brief overview of who we are as an organization, what we do locally and internationally, and some of the programs we're implementing here along the San Diego coast. So starting simply, our mission is to conserve coastal and marine ecosystems and address climate change through natural solutions. So we do this in a myriad of ways that I'm going to go throughout the presentation, but our work really focuses on safeguarding these ecosystems so they can continue providing benefits to both wildlife and communities. So we carry out our mission, again, in a lot of ways, but 3 main points is to establish and manage marine protected areas, a lot of which we have in our San Diego County, protect and restore blue carbon ecosystems, and partner with local communities, governments, and in the private sector as well. So we do outreach such as this, coming to you guys and showing you our lovely pictures from the field. So like I said, we are an international company, and being that we work along the Eastern Pacific, primarily along the coast of California and Mexico, and we focus on areas that are ecologically important and benefit from cross-border collaboration. So as you can see, we're spread all throughout Baja, and as well as San Diego. So like I said, our team is international with offices in both the United States and Mexico. We have staff based in Del Mar, Ensenada, La Paz, Mexico City. And this cross-border team really allows us to collaborate on conservation solutions and address climate change that go across international boundaries, because whales don't know boundaries, turtles don't know boundaries. So we really think it's important to work along the coast as a whole. So with this, we have a myriad of programs. Some of our programs in Mexico include mangroves. So we planted 170,000 seedlings planted, and mangroves are one of the best carbon sequestration tools. Along with that, we have marine debris, and we use local communities and trash booms in Tijuana, and we collected 300,000 pounds of trash collected in this last year. And some more of our programs is we work a lot on turtle nesting beaches. So we've so far protected 123 million eggs from being hatched, specifically olive ridleys. The coral reefs, we have a lot of areas protected in there. And it's just really exciting stuff. But a little bit more specifically to California is marine protected areas. So you'll hear me refer to these a lot as MPAs. We work both locally and at a statewide level, spending a lot of time out in the field to really stay connected with the science, monitoring efforts, and the different types of human activity along these protected areas. We also support a lot of restoration along these things, so throughout lagoons and canyons, which are equally as important as marine protected areas. In addition to this, we do a lot of community outreach through events, presentations, and partnerships with local organizations to help share information about coastal conservation and encourage stewardship of our marine environments. I'm going to be expanding a little bit more on these programs later in the presentation. So starting off as MPAs, I can just kind of give an overview of what are they, just in case people don't know. I kind of like to describe them as an underwater park. So we have national parks such as Zion or Yosemite, and MPA acts very similarly. So it's trying to limit extractive activities in these underwater areas. An analogy that we like to use, it's kind of like a high yield savings account or 401k. You want to save everything aside now so you can use it a little bit later in life. And we really want to preserve these ecosystems for future generations. So one that we have, especially local to Solana Beach, is the Swami State Marine Conservation Area, along with the San Elijo Lagoon, which is a no-take marine conservation reserve. And with this comes different levels of regulation. So some areas there's no-take, absolutely. Some you can do fishing from shore. You can do offshore fishing with spear guns. It really depends on the area and the regulations around it. And if anyone wants to learn more about MPAs, the MPA Collaborative has a lot of wonderful resources to kind of expand on this. So in the last presentation that we did for the Solana Beach City Council, we outlined the statewide MPA petition process and a proposal to change the Swami's boundary. That proposal has been withdrawn in the fall of 2024. So today I'm just going to highlight the work Wild Coast is doing to support our beloved MPAs like Swami's. So one of the programs that we do is MPA Watch. This is a community science program where we've trained volunteers and interns to collect data on beachgoers' activity. So that's kayakers, fishers, beachgoers, surfers, to kind of see how people are interacting with these MPAs. And that is really helpful in informing management and outreach efforts on both like a local level and a statewide level. Another source that we use is our M2 radar. So these radar systems really help detect vessel activity offshore. They provide data that can help resource managers better understand ocean use patterns and potentially identify illegal fishing or other activities in the protected areas. So this technology is really useful to us as a nonprofit because it helps complement our on-the-ground monitoring efforts. And a new pilot program that we're kind of reinvigorating this year is Ocean Ambassadors. So with this is we really want to keep meaningful ocean connections alive throughout our community by providing accessible MPA education and practical resources. We can't be everywhere all at once. I wish we could. I wish I could clone 20 million of me and then I would just do all my work. But through partnerships, we can definitely multiply our impact. So through this program, we're starting a Train the Trainers, which is a model where we train kayak or recreation shops in MPAs, regulations, and education and recent science, so they can then translate that to the public that they interact with. So this is ideally going to be amplifying our impact from the level of a recreational standpoint. And then in addition to that, we're connecting with businesses that overlook MPAs. So say it's a cafe that overlooks the Swami's MPA. We want to provide them free resources of fishing guides, wildlife guides to give out to the public for anyone who would want those. In addition to that, we also have coloring books, activity guides that are not just for children, they are for adults. I need to reiterate that. And then another program that we do along this, it's a seasonal program because of the tides, is our Tide Pool Ambassador program. So we go out and we interact with the public and kind of reinforce proper tide pool etiquette, such as no removing animals, shells, or rocks, not picking up animals, observing them where they are, and kind of talking about the importance of MPAs and interacting with the public on a really ground level. And through this, we've explored a lot of really amazing partnerships and educated children, people from out of town, everything. It's just been some of the most enriching conversations I've had working at Wild Coast. And moving on, switching gears a little bit onto signage. So this is another project we aid in with the San Diego coastline, is replacing the signage in marine protected areas and lagoon outlets throughout the county in partnership with California state parks. Signage may seem like a simple thing, but it's critical in marine conservation. For many visitors, these are the only things that they see when they're exploring an MPA. We really want people to understand the areas they're in, and half the time it's just miseducation that leads to behaviors that shouldn't be happening in MPAs. So through our partnerships with state parks, we're systematically replacing the outdated and damaged signs across San Diego County's marine protected areas. And these locations that these signs are in are especially important because they are ecologically sensitive transition zones that really support fish nurseries, migratory birds, and a lot of other wildlife. So the age-old question is, how can you help for both council members and city members? This is just a very small resource. It's just our newsletter. We put a lot of our events out there, articles, or any kind of news that Wild Coast has about MPAs, both internationally and locally. And then another way you can support is the Baja Bash. This event brings together the community to celebrate our coasts and oceans while raising funds to support conservation programs. It's a really fun way to kind of just connect with people who share the love for their marine ecosystems. So that's it. Get outside and enjoy the big blue. We really appreciate all your time that you've had. I really hope you enjoyed some of the pictures. That's my favorite part of these presentations, and our small little educational section about MPAs. And if you guys have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Great. Thanks, Ellery. Any questions? Councilmember Zito?
Not really a question, just a comment. I do want to say thanks for the efforts that you're doing in the space. I have noticed the signs at the Cardiff State Beach, and they do help. I've had interactions there where people are picking up wildlife and expecting to take it with them, and when you tell them about it, they're just like, "Oh, I didn't know," right? They just don't know about it. So the more people know, the better they'll behave. Thanks,
Yeah,
and thanks
definitely.
again.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I see no other questions. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so
sharing
much, you
this.
guys. Have a lovely
Very good.
rest of your meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Now we're on to oral communications. Oh, excuse me, let me read this part of it. This is the portion of the agenda that provides an opportunity for members of the public to address the council on items relating to city business but not appearing on today's agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no action shall be taken by the city council on public comment items. However, council may refer items to the city manager for placement on a future agenda. The maximum time allotted for this is 3 minutes. Please watch the lights here. Green means go, yellow means you have 1 minute, and red means please conclude.
And our speaker is Michael Citron.
Good evening, Mayor Hebner, members of the council. It's nice to see you all again. I'm here to ask, because you don't get unless you ask. You're all familiar with the Solana apartment complex that has a staircase down opposite Sprouts to get across the street at Solana Hills. That's a wonderful tool. I am on the board of directors for the Loma Santa Fe Villas, and we have 220 residents that are there. We would like a similar staircase installed from our upper tier right at the Loma Santa Fe Plaza crosswalk, and use the money from the Mike Levin funds, which are approved apparently per the newspaper, and we would accomplish several things with this. We'd be able to walk to the shopping center instead of driving around the corner through a couple of lights. It would produce a second avenue for us to use for a fire escape, because we currently only have one way in, one way out, and this would be a public benefit to create that. I think the design that is at Solana is perfect for this application, and if we could use that as a model, that would be great. I'd be more than happy to volunteer my time to help co-create this. I just don't know how to navigate it. So that's that on that issue, but I would like to address something that you said. Do you do any maintenance of the trails? I walk on them regularly, and in the MAP area that you're talking about, there are some trip hazards and fallen posts. I've alerted the Conservancy
me.
that's over in Cardiff, but they seem like it's not their.
Michael, the city attorney is.
Sir,
going
in
to-
this particular point, just a point of order, please direct your comments to the city council.
Okay.
And this is not an opportunity for a back and forth. It's actually just a one-way street.
I apologize.
Thank you.
That's it.
Very good.
I would like to see the trails improved for liability.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here.
Sure.
Okay, any others? That's it? Okay, so this is the time now for mayor's announcements, and I'll start with them. The NCTD rail closure, all passenger and freight rail services along the coast between San Diego and Oceanside will be suspended Saturday, March 21st and Sunday, March 22nd for scheduled maintenance. This will include coaster trains. Services will resume on Monday, March 23rd. Cruise equipment and test trains will be active along the railroad, so please be cautious and use designated crossings only. City Hall Gallery Exhibit and Reception. The Solana Beach Public Arts Commission invites the community to a special artist reception for our current City Hall Gallery exhibit, Remote Landscapes, by local artist Peter Hartshorn. The reception will be held on Friday, March 20th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here at City Hall. Guests can meet the artist, view the exhibit, and enjoy light refreshments. We encourage everyone to stop by and help celebrate this new exhibition. Pickleball, Mature Adult Pickleball League registration opens on Tuesday, March 24th at 8 a.m. What is mature?
Over 55.
Over 55? Okay, so none of you youngsters show up, okay? Call the Parks and Rec Department at 850-720-2454 to register, or for more information. Reminder, Solana Beach Kindness Drive. As a reminder, Solana Beach Cares has launched the Spring Cleaning Supplies Drive, where they are collecting new household cleaning items to support local families in need. Throughout the month of March, community members can drop off approved items at the donation bins located here at City Hall and at the Solana Beach City Library. For a list of approved items, visit the city's website or sign up for our weekly updates. That's all I have. City Manager, you have some updates?
I do. I have a couple this evening. First, as many of you are aware, and as an item of your work plan, I'd like to share a brief update on the Senior Transportation Pilot Program. In December, the city issued a request for proposals following some key stakeholder outreach that we did with some of our local organizations that serve our mature population. And we received actually several submissions for that RFP. So we've done an internal review by a panel, and they've completed their evaluation. And now we're working with Sandag, who is in the process of making some edits to a grant program for flexible fleets to then gauge whether or not that grant funding will work for this pilot program. So we'll hopefully bring that back to you once we have a little bit more information about the Sandag program and give you some options to consider at that point. And the other item I wanted to share with you is to introduce you to one of our newest team members. Austin Frisbee is here. He has stepped into the role of our principal civil engineer and our city engineer. So Austin previously worked for West Coast Civil, where he served as an extension of engineering department staff for several other small coastal cities. He has also been serving our city for the last 3 or 4 months. And over the course of his career, he's contributed to a variety of capital improvements, with his favorite being the Oceanside Advanced Water Purification Project, which I think will gain some attention by some of our council members. He also brings experience reviewing private development projects and working with SDG&E on neighborhood utility undergrounding. Also some interest there. So we're excited to have Austin and the expertise that he brings to this role, and we're happy to have him on our team. And if you see him around town in his yellow vest, please feel free to say hello to him. But he's going to sit in this evening on behalf of the Public Works Director.
Wonderful. Welcome, Austin. We're really happy to have you. Thank you for joining our team. Very good. Councilmember Zito, did you have an announcement?
Yeah, I just wanted to let people know that the Solana Center for Environmental Innovation, which is an organization that we work with pretty closely around organic waste compliance, is holding a zero waste textile expo that will be on Sunday, March 22nd from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Encinitas Community Center. More information can be found out at www.solanacenter.org. Just to really, as we've done better and better job of recycling organic waste, specifically yard waste and food waste, textiles are really one of the next largest waste streams that are going into our landfills, particularly with the advent of fast fashion. And so this is a great way to learn more about it. There, as part of there'll also be a clothing swap that people can participate in as well if they want.
Great. Thank you for that. Interesting. All right. Now we're on the consent calendar. Items listed on the consent calendar to be acted upon in a single action of the City Council unless pulled for discussion. Any member of the public may address the council on an item of concern on the consent calendar through the city clerk. Items removed from the consent calendar by any member of the public will be discussed immediately following approval of the consent calendar, and any items pulled by council will be trailed to the end of the agenda. City clerk, have any members of the public pulled an item from consent? Council, anyone want to pull? No. May I have a motion to approve consent? Moved by Becker and seconded by McDonald. Please vote. That passes 4-0 with Edson absent. Okay, we're now on to public hearings. City Manager.
Yes, good evening. The first item this evening is the time extension request for a development project at 729 Fresca Street. The case is time extension 25-004, and our Community Development Director, Joe Lim, is going to present the item for you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. This is a time extension request by Griffiths Lombroso, the applicant, where they had proposed a first-story interior remodel and small addition on the first floor and a full second-story addition. The original project was approved back in October of 2022. The applicant is requesting a 12-month time extension. Just to give you some additional information that just came to us this week was they actually did get coastal authorization, and that was provided to staff, I believe, either yesterday or today. And they did submit the for a building permit application back in August, so they're going to be going through the permitting plan check process still. That request, I believe the representative is in the audience to answer any questions you may have. But in order for the city council to approve a time extension request, you have to make the associated findings that are contained in the staff report. Those are listed here on the screen. But I don't have a presentation as it relates to the project itself, but I do have some information if you would like a refresher of what that project was at the time. Joe would recommend that you conduct the public hearing, open the public hearing, report council closures, receive public testimony, and close the public hearing upon your determination. And if you can make the requisite findings, adopt resolution 2026-015 approving the requested time extension, and staff is recommending 1 year.
Great. Thank you, Joe. I'll open the public hearing and we'll start with disclosures. I was on the council during the approval. I have not spoken to the applicant or any neighbors about this extension.
I was not on the city council when this was approved. I have not spoken to the applicant or anyone else about this, and I have nothing more to add.
Very good. Councilmember Zito.
I was on the city council when this project was approved. I have not spoken to the project applicant or any member of the public about this application.
And Councilmember Becker.
Yes, as I look at the map, I think I might be within the 1,000 feet radius, but I don't have any reason to believe that I have a conflict. And I have nothing else to disclose.
Very good. All right. Any questions of staff? I see no questions. Councilmember Zito, do you have a
Yeah,
question?
just a quick one, just for clarification. So it's a 1-year extension, but it's realistically only 6 months from the current date, right? Because
That's
it's the previous permit was
October.
intended to October. Okay,
Correct.
so it's 6 months, and then maybe I'll have a question for the applicant at that point. But if
Okay.
they're here.
Very good. All right, the applicant, you have 15 minutes to speak. If you can come to the podium. If nothing else, we have a question for you. Yeah.
The representative.
Yes. If you could state your name for the record, please.
Yes. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, my name is Randy Wastel.
Very good. Councilmember Zito, did you have a question of the applicant?
Guess there's no presentation, but yeah, no, the question is, I mean, the letter that was, relative to the findings that we have to make, the letter that you submitted was rather non-descriptive. So I'm just wondering, I just want to ask outright, it sounds like you're getting ready and you are ready to move forward and you believe the 6-month extension is adequate for you to finish what you need to get to
It
do,
looks
correct?
like with the time frame that we've taken a look at it, looks like
Okay.
it should be done by then.
Okay, because it just would rather not have to have this come back again. And so I just want to make sure you're good and that you are moving forward with this project.
Yes,
correct?
we are.
Okay.
And I have a time frame here. Of course, that's all subject to change due to extenuating circumstances, but, I thought I did.
That's okay. Just as long as you're thinking you're moving forward.
Yeah, we
and
supposed
you're
to
ready.
pull the building permit in August.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Okay. Anything
Very
else?
good. That's it.
Thank
Seeing
you.
nobody else, I'll make a motion to
Very
close the
good.
public hearing.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. May I have a second to close the public hearing? Deputy Councilmember Becker, please vote. Okay, the public hearing is closed. May I have a motion, please? Motion by Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and make a motion approving staff recommendation and adopting resolution 2026-015 as outlined in the staff report.
Very good. And Councilmember Becker, is that a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay, please vote. Okay, that passes 4-0 with Edson absent. Brings us to our staff reports. Councilmember, City Manager.
Yes. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council, members of the community. The next two items are really informational items and where we're looking for some input from the council. The first being our community grants program. As directed last year to me by the council was to come back with some additional information. What do other cities do in the space of community grants? To look at our program and how we solicit applications, how do we allocate funding and budget for that, and then how do we ensure successful implementation of those funds through some sort of reporting that is commensurate with the amounts that we are gifting to these organizations within our community. So tonight we have Dion Akers, our Internal Compliance and Government Affairs Manager, to give a presentation about the Community Grants Authorization Program and some areas that we are really looking for your input is on the timelines, the potential creation of maybe some separate council-directed funds as part of this program. Any budget adjustments that you want us to start to consider. We have our finance director here who will be preparing for those budget updates, as well as any criteria that you may want to consider for that selection. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Dion to give the presentation. Thank you, Dion.
Thank you, Alyssa. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Dion Akers here to present on our community grants program. First, just a brief background on the program. This is something that the council sees every year. Each March, we review the criteria, guidelines, and timeline for the community grant program following council's authorization. The program is usually released in April with a deadline for submittals by the end of May. For the 26-27 budget, we've allocated $50,000 for the upcoming grant program. $15,000 of that amount comes from EDCO as part of their solid waste franchise agreement. Again, that's continuing from previous years. And for the budget, I'll also note that the budget includes $15,000 allocated through the Public Art Reserve Fund, which is used to support our arts community and initiatives. And at times, that fund is used to support arts-based applications that come in through this community grant process. Here we have just a look at the application criteria. This is largely unchanged from previous years, with a focus on maximizing the impact for the grants being awarded, supporting Solana Beach-based nonprofits and partners, keeping the funds in the city as much as possible with programs and partners and collaborators, and ensuring that proper controls, budgets, and reporting are adhered to in the expenditures and on our back-end reporting of the funds. Just a quick look at that. Next is a look at our timeline for the program. Which begins with the opening of the grant program, like we said, in April, and awards being finalized with the council at the end of June. We do have a few changes to the timeline worth noting this year, which is also referenced in the application criteria on the previous slide. Beginning this year, awardees will have a full fiscal year to expend and provide necessary documentation for their award expenses. This is an extension of previous year programs that required awardees to use grant dollars by the spring. Both spend down and reporting for recipients, will now be due June 30, and this is next year in 2027. And with that, staff is committed to returning to council the following September for a full reporting on the 26-27 grant process and awards. As Alyssa noted, the other significant change we are considering this year is the addition of a council-directed spending account. The idea for this additional or modified grant element stems from a desire to enhance the city's responsiveness to neighborhood-specific needs and give each council member an annual grant allocation to direct at his or her discretion. By providing flexibility and discretion to the council, these funds could provide targeted support to grassroots efforts that may fall outside of the traditional grants program, or increase support to existing grant awardees and or be specific to the council members in their districts. There are many ways that we could structure a program like this, if desired by council, and staff would be happy to discuss that and hear your recommendations. In closing, we're looking forward to promoting and executing the 2026 grant program later this spring. With changes being considered this year, staff respectfully seeks council input on the program, its timeline, and the potential addition of a council-directed spending account. That concludes our short presentation, and we look to council for questions and comment.
Thanks, Dion. We don't have any speakers. Deputy Mayor McDonald, did you have a...
So I did have some time to think about this today after talking to City Manager Muto. I appreciate the timeline so that organizations have more time to spend the money if to the end of the fiscal year rather than in May. So I would be in support of that. And I thought about the idea of council-directed spending accounts, and I thought, we are such a small city, 13,000 people. I mean, am I, because I live east of the freeway, not going to be in support of something that the Boys and Girls Club wants to do, or something that might benefit a different neighborhood than mine? No, we are supporting organizations who provide services for youth, services for older adults, services for community members in need, and I don't think that we need to start segmenting the funds. I do think that we should consider raising the amount. You know, inflation is with us. We had a very hard time with the number of grant applications last year and had to, I think, across the board, reduce the amount of money that we granted in order to try to fulfill the grant requests of everyone. When I see, you know, how much more expensive things that we are doing as a city have become, it isn't any different for community organizations, even if they are volunteer organizations. Let's see. Oh, and the Hans criteria, I assume you're referring to spending your money in Solana Beach, serving Solana Beach residents. I'm certainly in favor of that.
Thank you. Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the information. I guess one thing, I'm supportive of the timeline, although for me, I think it would be better, if possible, to make the deadline June 15th instead of June 30th, so it would be ready for the meeting where we're actually making the allocations, because it's difficult to understand how grant allocations should be done for the first year if you don't know how they were spent the previous year. And if we're going to be making the determination in the last meeting in June, I really like having the information of how those funds were spent the previous year as well, if possible.
I think so that date always changes a little bit, and that's
Right.
usually your second meeting
Correct.
if it is a full budget year, meaning the beginning of the 2-year cycle. And that would actually probably wheel us back into May again, which is generally what we have.
Or why would it wheel us back in May? The meeting isn't until the end of
Because
June.
our first meeting, correct? Rachel, can you give us an update on the timelines for the budget, the first and...
Yeah, so typically, if it's a full budget cycle year, there would be 2 meetings. The first one at the first meeting in June, and then the second one for the budget adoption. So I think if you were looking at potentially changing, budget allocations, then
I'm not talking about budget allocation. I'm just talking about the
Right.
grant awards.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
That's not, that
so
doesn't relate to budget. Just imagine who wins the grants, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So presently, this is the cycle that we are in now, and more or less. And even with that end of year spending, we don't get the reports right away. And so this has been the thing that we've been
Right.
chasing. And we almost would need to have a reaction to the spending on the subsequent year. Unless we're going to make a grant period 9 months, we couldn't get you that full information before you make a budget decision.
Well, wait.
in
What
the
if we
same year.
just if you don't mind? What if we just the budget decision is about how much we're going to give. We will have already made that, right? And why don't we just move the grant program a month out so that we can then know how they spent it on, if they spent it properly, whatever, and then we'd be able to make our individual rewards of that amount that we have predetermined for the budget.
So then we would need to be really firm with the budget allocation amount, that we can do that. I think that's another way we have to be very firm. We went over by about 500 this year, and the previous year about 50. I'm looking for Dan.
Yeah, I know.
By about
Previous year was a couple thousand.
It
I
was
think.
1,500 or a couple thousand. I can't
Yeah.
remember the exact amount.
We didn't actually go over because of the money that came from the public arts.
The public arts
Yeah.
too.
So
but
it
now
would have been
we've-
11,000
right, yeah.
if we didn't go with public arts. Yeah.
So I, if we are going to have the council adopt the budget and that is firm, we can move the cycle
Yeah.
to accommodate that fiscal year and have it start the next year. we're always kind of chasing it, but I'm happy to go back with Dion and try to work through what that looks like. And when we come back for the program, and we can give you an update on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Does that
I
sound
interrupted you, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Sorry.
okay. That would work for me too. I mean,
Okay.
again, I like having the information from the previous year when I'm making my
Yeah.
decisions on the awards for the next year. That's all. If we can figure out how to make that work, that would be great. The other thing is that you didn't. You talked about checking with other cities. I don't know if we did check with other cities, because I think that could be informative. Although I know just from the little bit of research I've done, it's all over the map. I think from the I mean, Coronado gives away an incredibly large amount of money,
$1 million or something.
Yeah, right. But then if we compare ourselves to Encinitas per capita, we give out much more money today than Encinitas does per capita. So. Well, as I said, knowing what that is, I mean, I'm certainly sympathetic. We're in a good budget situation with the deputy mayor's comments about looking at the budget and trying to do more, but as long as we're doing it now as opposed to when we're looking at the awards. But it would be helpful to know, if we're going to start generating press like, oh, the Solana Beach is way out of the line with respect to what everybody else is doing, just what other cities are. And then relative to the council member funds, that might be my fault because it is actually something that the city of Encinitas does, is when they do their grant allocations, they have a certain amount that's given out by the council for the grants, and then they also have individual council member awards that are done it. And, I thought that was interesting because, to be frank, in the last 2 years, there were a couple of organizations that I would have liked to seen get more money, but I had no way to make that happen. And because it felt like there were 4 people, aligned otherwise prior to the meeting. So I kind of like the idea of having small amounts that individual council members can allocate towards specific organizations that they think they would like to see get more, but it doesn't have to be huge pools. Just how closer to how Encinitas is doing it as well. But that's kind
Just
of
to
my
interject, I don't think 4 council members coordinated previously on anything.
No,
So,
but you did have 2 sets of 2, which is pretty close.
2 sets of
Yes.
Well, that's
So-
compliant with the Brown Act.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay. Councilmember Becker.
Yes, thank you. I respect what you just said, but I'm not comfortable with the personal funds. I just read in the paper recently about, I think it's one of the cities, that can be termed as slush funds. And I just don't want to go down that road. We are just a small city. And I feel like in all the time that I've been on council, we've been in pretty good agreement a lot of times with the amounts, and whether it goes up a little bit, like $500 here, $500 there, I feel like we're always right on there. I think the problem that we've had is that let's make sure that we just stick to our budget, because that's what's hard. Is I feel like we sit here and go, oh, let's see if we can find $2,000 more somewhere. And so that gets us into trouble. I think if we have a set budget and we all come up with how we divide it, and then I feel like we've been really cooperative with each other to figure it out. It hasn't been, seems like to me, a very big issue, but I'd like to be firm on the budget if we could.
So speaking of the budget, I'm in support of what the deputy mayor said, that the $50,000 may not be adequate given the need in this community, especially in these times. And if we were to raise that, perhaps it would make it whatever amount that you were thinking to be in the individual council members' banks. What would that have been? What had you figured on?
Let's start. Rachel, do you have the information of the last couple of years, what the allocations have been from general fund and EDCO, and then when we've added in the public arts fund? And this is probably a good place for math.
Yeah. I do have some of that information. Typically, the general fund piece has varied a little bit depending on whether we were going to get additional funds from Santa Fe Christian. I know for a while they were giving some money towards the community grants, but that stopped a few years ago. So since then, the general fund award, which includes the $15,000 from EDCO, for fiscal year 26 was $50,500 with $11,000 from the public arts. 25 fiscal year was $50,000 from general fund with $11,000 from public arts. Fiscal year 24 was $55,000 from general fund, $11,000 from public arts. Fiscal 23, it looks like 60,000 actually came from general fund, but there was some conflicting information in staff reports about some of that may have been attributed to public arts. And then fiscal year 22, it was 55,000, and fiscal year 21 was 45,000. Those were both from general fund. And then in fiscal year 20, it was $40,430 from general fund and $4,570 from public arts funds.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Rachel. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
You know, we could apply a factor, and maybe that is on an every year, every 2 year, because we run on a 2-year budget cycle, so that kind of keeps it steady. It could provide some predictability for those applying what the expectation is. I do think that as you increase, and what we did see as you increase, the requests will increase, the demand increased in terms of the number of organizations that had applied previously. You know, times are challenging. I think that there's a lot of contraction in different ways with resources, and costs are going up. So I think the council could, maybe if you want to have a short discussion on some ideas that Rachel can bring back in the budget conversation, we can at least start there.
Okay, well, I'm just noting that we haven't really changed this amount very much from 45 to the highest was 60, but now we're back down to 50,500. And if you think about how much costs, what percentage have increased for all of us, I mean, that's quite a bit. I would feel a little bit more comfortable with 60 or 65,000 as this budget item amount. And maybe we should go back to the $5,000 grant amount, so we can spread that a little bit further to more organizations and just, you know, be firm with that. I know that our thought before was, well, costs have gone up, so we should probably grant more money, but the reality is we're never going to be able to have enough in our small city budget to fulfill all of the needs that our community has. So I'll throw that idea out and see what my colleagues say. Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, thanks. I'll address it shortly. I just want to follow up, even though I realize it clearly doesn't have support right now, but just in case it comes back in future years. Relative to Councilmember Becker's comment, I agree entirely. If we were ever to do individual allocations, it couldn't be a slush fund. It's not like what National City does. It's something that the council member is the one that gets to say where it goes, but it has to be approved by the board of the entire board. It's not like National City where they just go ahead and hand
sort
out
of
money.
like the VAC.
It's kind
like
of
our
like
VAC
appointing a
appointments.
VAC appointment or appointment to budget and finance, right? You're saying my appointee is this, but if the council vote it's down, then it doesn't happen, right? So it's not, I was not, I did not appreciate, or I should say, I didn't think it was written correctly in the staff report, because it makes it sound like a slush fund, which I would not support at all. At all. It'd be more like, okay, this is the $2,000 you get to allocate, but only if the rest of the council approves it, right? So just something for future consideration. Outside of that, I think your numbers sound really good to me for a possible increase.
60 max, and then we'll go back to the 5,000 as a grant.
I'm aligned with that for sure.
Okay. I see a head shake from Councilmember Becker. Deputy Mayor, what do you think? Head shake? Yeah.
So we can, so 60,000 is what we will input into budget for consideration, and that will just be the general fund money. So in addition to that, we had, what was the
11,000 for the PAC?
There's 15,000 in the budget, but typically with the past 2 years, with the awards that we've been able to give that are under public arts, it was 11,000.
Yeah,
so if you reduced the
not everything
max,
is
that would
arts
change
oriented. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And then making the max you can apply for is 5,000.
Yes. Yes.
And that is irrespective of if it's public arts or
correct
general fund. Okay.
Yes.
So we can make some of those edits to the program.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, was we're discussing a base amount of 60.
60.
60.
60.
Yeah.
I said 60?
Yes.
Yeah,
60.
60.
Yeah.
I thought I did. It's been a very long day for me today. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Plus 15 for public arts, and of that 60, 15 is from EDCO, so it's really 45 from our general fund. Yeah. Oh, and then we'll have the cycle will be out a month so that we can have the information of how it was spent before we allocate.
Yeah, I need to look at that timing a little bit more. It actually may result in a 10 or 11 month timeline, in part because our last meeting in July is
The 15th.
mid-July, so we need to, we'll give the organizations as much time as possible and make sure that you have the reporting information. So when you make the decision on the award of the grants, you know that it was spent effectively on the year prior. Does that sound like?
Right.
Okay.
And so this one that says September 2027, the city manager provides the final report for the grant recipients. So that would
come in July.
yeah.
So if we pushed it out after the budget sets.
Well, wait a minute. So we need that information before we make the grant. Isn't that what we're saying?
But you're authorizing the budget, but we can do the grant separately in the next couple meetings after the budget. So in the July meeting.
We'll do the grant. in the
Yeah,
July
let's say it's
meeting.
the July 15th is our
Okay.
last one before the break. We would have the community grants come then under the budget that has been set, 60 plus the 15 of public arts. And at that time, we will also have the report. So that last one will be synced up with when we do the final council review for awarding of the community grants.
Okay. All right. So that date's not right. Okay. Deputy Mayor?
We have to adjust all that.
All right, so I'm going to throw a wrench in the works, but whatever will happen will happen. I will not be here on July 15th. I have a long scheduled vacation with my granddaughter planned.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay. So why don't we, okay, so let's see. Well, I think that's
The
going to be.
goal is to get reporting to the
SB4, yeah. So then I guess we would just have to tell our last year's recipients that we need to have the reporting by whatever date you figure that is.
Let us see what our last year's recipients can do if they are done expending the money for this year, and then we'll sync up for 2027 more fully.
Yeah.
But we'll need to reach out and see where people are.
Okay. Councilmember Zito, did you have
Yeah,
more?
no, I was going to say, relative, since I put that idea on the table, I like having it, but we also have to be flexible when we're changing things. So I just want to set up a process that's going to work for future years. And if this year, in order to make sure everybody participates, we can have it, the meeting earlier, even if we don't have complete information, because I think it's more important to have all of us participating.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And is there any interest of the council to have an escalator over time for that 60,000, or do you want to just revisit it every 2 years?
What if we went up 5,000 every 2 years?
I think we should just revisit it
Revisit
at the
it each time? Okay, all
to
right.
see
Just wanted
what's happening.
to
That's
get
true
that
because,
concurrence.
who knows
Yeah.
where this economy is going. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So you have direction. We don't need do we need a motion?
No, well, we do have a resolution though, don't we? Yes.
Ah.
But before we do, I want to maybe pause for a moment on, we got through the timeline. We talked about the council directed spending account. We can always bring that back in the future if there's a little bit more interest in that and we want to explore that more. The budget adjustments. I want to talk a little bit about the criteria though. The criteria is listed in your attachment for how the applications are reviewed. Are there any of those criteria that we want to refine? So there are things in there about being a 501c3 or a similar organization. It does talk about from a reporting perspective that you need to submit tax receipts or tax records. With respect to public arts, do you want more clarification about the public arts component and what that means for the community? Maybe just I want to put those out there and get some of your thoughts on that criteria, because I think that's a couple of the areas over in the past in my limited time here that I've heard some feedback and some discussion around the grant awards.
Okay. So where is the criteria? So this? No, that's the application request for financial. Oh, down here, the required attachments. Okay. So W9, the first page of the staff report. Okay, that it's a nonprofit 501c3 or a recognized community-based organization serving our community. Fair and justifiable program costs, so a budget is required. Collaboration/partnerships, what does that mean?
And you may want to specify, is it partnerships within the community? Is it partnerships with other nonprofit organizations or institutions. So
That's not a requirement. I mean, we don't require the Boys and Girls Club to work with another organization. That's how I would read that.
no, but they definitely work with organizations. They work with our Parks and Rec department. So that, I think that's one. If it's left broadly, we can keep it that way. If it should be other Solana Beach organizations or other.
I'm not sure we need to have that at all. Is that something? What do you all think about that? Because like Backpacks for Kids, I mean, you guys you collaborate with the Free Farmers Market, but originally you were just the Backpacks for Kids.
Yeah.
Didn't collaborate with any other organization, yet they're worthy. And so what do you think? Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that it's hurtful. It's not like everybody has to meet and be strong in every single one of these buckets. I think it's more of a matter of if an organization is really good at leveraging their funds and collaborating with other organizations to expand the use of those funds.
So this is not a requirement,
Yes,
which is how I'm reading it as requirement. So it's not a requirement.
These are the ways that we measure things, but not every organization has to touch every single one.
Okay, as long as
Is
these
that
aren't
correct?
requirements, I'm good
or is
with
that the
that.
case? I mean,
We may want to make some clarification to
Right, yeah.
just how that's written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
I
next
mean-
one is leverage of matching funds and resources. So that would be kind of the same thing. Like that's like desired.
We have requested that the organizations come with their own funding because we don't want to be
The sole funder.
Yes, so
Okay.
I do think that
That would be a
matching of a equal investment or like investment on that organization's part is important.
Okay, so I'm thinking of the square dancers. Did they have another?
Oh, yes,
They did.
They have some money.
Okay,
yes.
all right. Preference will be given to organizations that service the residents and utilize the businesses of Solana Beach. I think that is a must, right? Originality and creativity. Preference will be given to projects or programs which are new and unique to the community or which provide a new or unique aspect to an existing program.
So you may want to revisit that
Yeah.
because I don't see often that the
They're brand new.
programs are new.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something about a reliable or an important.
Sorry, through
Sure.
the mayor. I mean, one of the things that came to mind when I read that, which was different than what I think his intent is, we do often look at organizations that are addressing what you might call current needs. Like when COVID hit, it's like, okay, are there organizations helping COVID? In the current immigration challenged environment, are organizations helping with that? And so maybe rephrasing that to be talking about more about current needs than actually new things per se, right?
That's good. Yeah, all right. The next one is applicants must submit a financial condition statement, which is a balance sheet, as well as the applicant's revenue and expenditure statements and tax returns for the prior operating year. I think that's important. Deputy Mayor?
I mean, a tax return would assume that they're a 501c3, I would assume, or have some tax status, correct?
Madam City Attorney.
If the council so desires to expand a program to include more than 501c, an alternative could be audited records or a balance sheet. There are some accounting, and I'm going to look to Rachel, some way that can actually justify that the funds were actually spent the way the council intended it to be spent. So we can work on that and fine tune what that financial mechanism would be.
Okay.
Recognizing that sometimes audit actually is more expensive than the funds that we're actually providing. So we might want something less onerous than that.
Would
Yeah, I think-
receipts be sufficient?
I think we'll need to contemplate what support you'd be willing to take, but we will.
You'll research that and
we'll provide some options.
Okay,
yes.
very good.
And just to, as we identify those options, what I think I'm hearing is that we want to be more inclusive of nonprofits.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Councilmember Becker?
Yes, I'm kind of feeling like some of these criteria should be requirements, and then maybe a few of them. I feel like there should be two categories because I definitely want them to be servicing Solana Beach, and we definitely want the receipts. But then and the completion of the project between the grant
Yeah, it's the next one, the completion
Yeah, the
of
next
that.
one, sorry. So some of those are just requirements, whereas maybe we were talking about the ones on the first page, you know, are just
They're sort of
things that can be considered.
desirable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if we could separate those out, that'd be great. Okay, is that enough direction?
Yes, for, let's really quickly before we leave the public arts, I'd like to hear your thoughts about the public arts. I've heard it a little bit in the past of it needs to be a free program that's available to maybe schools or the community, or there have been a couple different. So what is the pleasure of the council on this?
I think what you said is true, that they should be offering free performances or free whatever it is to the community, and they're not, you know, raking it in on the ticket sales and then asking us for taxpayer money. Yeah.
So I'm hearing free performances to the community, and the community could be a subset. So sometimes it is schools that come in for many performances because they sometimes don't visit
Yeah.
the school.
How would we phrase it so it's not a token like little thing where there's, you know?
Well, it has to be open to the members of the public. It could be first come, first serve or something like that, but it has to be open to all members to the public as far as I'm concerned in some way or another, because it's public art. Without charge, yeah. It could be first come, first serve gets in, you know, if they have to limit capacity for something like that.
But hosting a school program where all of the schools in the Solana Beach city limits come and view a daytime performance is not sufficient because it's a limited population.
Well, yeah, I'm open to debate, but I really think it's public art. It's not like we put up a statue and say only these people can view that statue, right? It's it doesn't make sense to me.
I can go with that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really helpful clarification. And we'll add
And
that
this
in.
will ultimately help us a lot in the community too.
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for digging into this deeper.
Yeah, and thank you, Dion. Really appreciate your work preparing this, and Dan as well.
Thank you, Dan, for the work.
Yeah. Where is
all
he?
right.
Hopefully he's dining in Solana Beach.
Dining in Solana Beach, definitely.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Zito, did you have something else?
I was just going to make a motion to
Oh, thank you.
authorize the city manager to update the budget as we outlined and relevant programs as we outlined in this meeting tonight, and then to initiate the fiscal year 26-27 community grant program.
Very good. And may I have a second, please? Second by Becker. Please vote. Okay, that passes 4-0 with Edson absent. Okay, and we're on to another information item.
This is really an exciting item to bring to the council and to the public this evening. As you all are aware, but maybe our public doesn't know, this year we turned 40. So as a city incorporated in 1986, we are, I like to say we're maybe coming of age a little bit with the improvements that we've been making in our city, with the programs that we're seeing for our constituents, and the solid partnerships with many of these community groups really have proven an opportunity for us to take this opportunity to celebrate turning 40. And I want to bring back Dion to present to the council and the public almost a kickoff of information for our 40th anniversary celebration. Dion?
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. I'm still glad to be here, and I'm still Dion Akers. Just a bit of background to start. The city of Solana Beach was officially incorporated on July 1st, 1986, and we are coming up on our 40th anniversary. And in 1986, when incorporation took place, it marked the transition from an unincorporated area of San Diego to a self-governing municipality, a real city. Before incorporation, the community began to take its modern shape in the early 1920s when Ed Fletcher, a prominent real estate developer, purchased the land and spearheaded the development of the community, including the hydraulic carving of the beach access at Fletcher Cove. For decades, the area thrived as a quiet coastal enclave, but in the 1980s, residents grew motivated to ensure local control regarding land use, density, and coastal preservation, and there was always been a strong desire to protect the community's unique coastal character. I just want to take a minute to note that while we're focusing on this year's celebration of the milestone of the city and its founding, the Solana Beach community has a long and rich history that goes far back before incorporation and Fletcher Cove. This includes the development of the Stevens House back in 1887, which was the first home in Solana Beach, which now serves as the Heritage Museum, which is also a great place to get information for a presentation like this, and the deep roots of the La Colonia neighborhood, and of course the earliest history of the La Joyan and Kumeyaay people. This is a very abbreviated history in the community, and no disrespect is intended to all the important milestones that have been omitted. Since officially becoming a city, Solana Beach has transformed into a premier coastal community with a stable population, thriving arts and business community, and a highly engaged city council, as you can see here on the slide above us. Throughout its history, Solana Beach and its residents have maintained a strong connection to its heritage and celebrated major milestones like the 25th anniversary. We have the seal for the 25th up on the slide, with community festivals, historical displays at the Civic and Historic Society, special recognitions at Fiesta del Sol, which is a beloved music and arts festival which actually predates the city itself. And keeping with this tradition of honoring significant milestones and community achievements, the City of Solana Beach will recognize and celebrate its 40th anniversary this year, beginning on July 1st. Throughout the coming year, by bolstering community events, partnering with the Chamber of Commerce and others in the community to celebrate our business community. We'll be conducting online media campaigns and developing an anniversary city seal to be used in promotions. The primary way the city will celebrate the 40th anniversary will be through enhancing existing annual city events, largely in collaboration with the city's Park and Rec Department. Recognition is planned to begin at Fiesta del Sol 2026 in May, and with the public release of this year's calendar of events and the special 40th marketing materials, and conclude at Fiesta del Sol 2027 with an enhanced community celebration at the conclusion of that festival. Marketing and promotion of the anniversary will take place all year and be featured in many ways, but there's a few particular events that will have increased attention and recognition that we'd like to highlight. First, the Concerts at the Cove series will begin on July 2nd, 2026. This is the first event in that series and the first official event for the 40th. And this will serve as our birthday party with a premier stage act and a birthday-themed offerings for attendees. Celebrations will continue throughout the Concert at the Cove series. Following that, we'll continue the celebration at the Beach Blanket Movie Night on August 8th. The city intends to bolster this exciting event through increased promotion, potentially a much larger screen size, and we're considering moving the movie down onto the actual sand for this year. Later in October, for Dia de los Muertos, the city will give special recognition to the La Colonia community and its traditions as an integral part of Solana Beach's history at this annual celebration. Then in November, for World Kindness Day, we will continue to serve in our role as an official city of kindness. Solana Beach will seek to improve upon the past year's acts of kindness to rally community support larger than ever before for kindness for all of our residents. In December, we will celebrate our holiday tree lightings on December 6th and December 12th. And I believe that the arrival of the holiday season will be cheerier than ever this year, with special promotions for the anniversary at our tree lighting ceremonies. And then next spring, in March, for the spring egg hunt, we will hold an event at La Colonia Park. In the 2027 event, we propose including larger attractions, more activities, and giveaways for the community members and children who attend. And then again, like we said, we will wrap up the celebration at next year's Fiesta del Sol in May of 2027. Marketing and partnerships will be a big part of the celebration that we have planned for the year. Physical and digital marketing assets and campaigns will be developed during the year to promote anniversary events, highlighting the city's history, engaging community members, and garnering support for city initiatives. Some of the planned assets and campaigns include the release of the city's 40th anniversary commemorative seal, which again we have on display here, targeted social media campaigns on city platforms, some large banners and recognizing the anniversary at events and in community spaces, and anniversary promotional items. For 40 years, the City of Solana Beach has been a proud partner of many local, national, and international organizations, and we intend to leverage those partnerships for the year ahead to ensure representation of our community interests and best outcomes for anniversary events. The city will continue to work with our long-standing partners, such as the Solana Beach Chamber of Commerce, the La Colonia Community Foundation, Solana Beach Historical Society, Solana Beach Community Connections, and our local schools. And I would just take a minute to note, I learned just this year something that we like to partner on and also recognize. I believe this is the 100th anniversary of the Solana Beach School District is also celebrating a big anniversary this year. All the more reason for an exciting party. In addition to bolstering and enhancing the key existing community events, we intend to take on a select few special projects designed to improve community spaces, enhance city marketing assets, and increase art and community representation at City Hall as part of the 40th anniversary. A few of the ideas that we're really focusing on for these special projects are listed on the slide. The first is a Solana Beach photo destination. We city staff will explore developing an arts-based photo destination for residents and visitors that showcases the city's unique beauty and desirability. Some of the inspiration that we've had for this is a chair that you all may have seen down in Mission Bay. This is from the Discover Mission Bay, large Adirondack chair. Folks take photos on it. You can see where they're at, and it promotes Mission Bay. We're thinking about something like that for Solana Beach. Secondly, staff are very excited to make progress on our city logo and design standards. The City of Solana Beach has not established an official logo and instead relies on the city seal for most marketing, promotional, and official materials. And as the city enters its next chapter, we want to begin the process of working with professional design consultants on the development of an official logo and city design standard manual that complements the city's growth and development. And then finally, we are considering some enhancements to council chambers and City Hall. To increase art and community representation at City Hall, we will collaborate with the City Council to enhance the physical space of council chambers where we are today and the City Hall facilities. And really the objective here is updating some of our less timely decor in our public rooms, increasing space for art displays, and enhancing community experience when coming to this building. As you can see, we have an ambitious plan for a fun, dynamic, and celebratory year ahead. We hope to use this anniversary year as an excuse to celebrate all things Solana Beach, enhance important community events, make needed updates and changes to City Hall, and ultimately set the tone for many more great anniversaries to come. That concludes the presentation, and I'm happy to answer questions and hear council's feedback.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dion. Really great. Good forethought. Deputy Mayor.
Maybe we can get baseball caps that say 40th anniversary.
As long as they're not trucker hats. Yeah, I think this is really great. Looking forward to collaborating with everybody on what all these particulars are. I think it's going to be exciting. And everybody in the community looks like is going to be included, all of the organizations. And I think Jane Morton said that we need to include the North Coast Rep and the library. And the library. Oh, and the Belly Up. They'll always be involved because they'll be helping us with, and the chamber with the Fiesta del Sol, and they help us with the concerts at the Cove. Yes. So we can make sure that they're included as well.
Absolutely.
Seaweeders.
Certainly.
Yeah. They did such a good job out in front of City Hall. We all remarked as we came in how it's growing in so beautifully.
Yeah, that's good.
Any other comments or
I feel like Dion and
additions?
Austin just came for the party. You guys made it just in time, right?
I feel like our timing was pretty excellent.
Yeah.
Joining the team here in Solana Beach.
Yeah, great. All right, so we're going to get pins like that. Is that the story?
We're going to be working on some merchandise. We are looking at hats, a couple different styles for those that do enjoy a trucker hat or maybe enjoy a cap. So
Okay.
getting all the
Or a
headlights.
visor. Or a visor.
Visor. We
Yeah.
haven't explored that, but
Yeah.
we could add that to the list.
There you go.
So
My
yes.
vote would be the hats and not a pin. We don't need a pin,
Yeah,
do we?
that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really like to
Yeah.
poke holes in my clothes. Anybody else have anything to add? Looks good. Okay. Thanks so much, Dion. We
Hey, Dion.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Appreciate
Alyssa, for thinking through that. Okay, and that concludes the work items on our agenda. Any letters sent? Legislative correspondence? Nope, not yet. Okay. Work plan comments? Nope. Compensation and reimbursement disclosures? Do we need to do other agency disclosures?
Only the ones that are actually funded by Solana Beach is the technical. But
Well, Solana Beach, we are members of Sandag.
Yes.
Okay, so I was at the California Association of Councils of Governments conference, that's called CalCog, Monday, Tuesday, until this afternoon in Long Beach, and attended quite a few really worthwhile sessions on a number of items of great interest to our region and to our city. And Sandag will reimburse me for those funds. Anybody else with a compensation reimbursement? No. Okay. Council Commission reports? Councilmember Cito.
Yes, not exactly a commission, but I am still the representative on Mike Levin's Songs Task Force Committee. I did forward some information to the city manager who can distribute it as we see fit, but a couple of notes. One of which is it's been going on for probably 6 years now or so, maybe 7 years, and Mike is wanting to start an effort to update the report. So if you recall, he initially formed the task force that generated a report that said these are the things that we're going to target, these are the things that we're working on, and that report is out there. It can be circulated again, and he would like to create a version 2.0 for that report. So if folks have input that they want to get to the task force, they can provide it through the city manager. We can hold a meeting here or have an agenda item if we want to talk about it, if they think that there's things that they would like to make sure that I'm communicating back to the task force as part of my role in there. The other thing is that there was a presentation, which I do think we should ask the city manager to forward in the last meeting, which was really interesting about how they're doing prototyping and piloting of what the train cars will look like that will move this material around the country, and they're planning a test run, and it talks about the designs and all the efforts that are going into the designing the containers that will be used to move, because the assumption is it will be moved on trains.
Really
Yes,
interesting.
And Councilmember, we can post that song's presentation and share it with the council members. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, seeing no other reports, I will adjourn this meeting until March 25th. Good night, all.